Interview preparation part 4. Can we use JSON instead of YAML while developing Docker Compose file in Docker? Yes, it can be used. In order to run Docker Compose with JSON, we will use this command, docker compose-f docker compose.json up, then this can be used. How many containers you can run in Docker and what are the factors influencing this limit? There is no clearly defined limit to the number of the containers that can be run within the Docker, but it all depends on the limitation. More specifically, hardware restrictions, the size of the app, and the CPU resources available are two important factors influencing this limit. In case your application is not very big and you have abundant CPU resources, then we can run a huge number of containers. Describe the life cycle of Docker container. The different stages of the Docker container from the start of creating it to its end are called the Docker container lifecycle. The most important stage are created. This is state where the container has just been created, new, but not started yet. Running. In this state, the container would be running with all its associated processes. Paused. This state happens when the running container has been paused. And stopped. This state happens when the running container has been stopped. Deleted. This when the container is deleted or in a dead state. How to use Docker for multiple application environment. Docker Compose feature of Docker will come to help here. In the Docker Compose file, we can define multiple services, networks, and containers along with the volume mapping in a clean manner. Then we can just call the command docker compose up. When there are multiple environments involved, it can be either dev, staging, UAT, or production servers. We would want to define the server-specific dependencies and processes for running the application. In this case, we can go ahead with creating environment-specific Docker Compose files of the name docker compose.environment.yaml, and then based on the environment, we can set up and run the application. How will you ensure that a container 1 runs before container 2 while using Docker Compose? So you can see that this is an example. The answer is Docker Compose doesn't wait for any container to be ready before going ahead with the next container. In order to achieve the order of execution, we can use this. The depends on, as you can see, depends on our example. So which we got added in version 2 of the Docker Compose, and it can be used as in the following. As you can see, we are using depends on /db, and db here is, as you can see, defining image with PostgreSQL. How will you ensure that a container 1 runs before container 2? So let's continue this question. So the introduction of services dependencies has various causes and effects. So the Docker Compose up command starts and runs the service in the dependencies other order specified. So for example, our example or our previous example, the DB container is started before the backend. And so Docker Compose up the service of name, the name of the service, by default includes the dependencies associated with the service. So in the given example, running Docker Compose up backends creates and start DB dependencies of the backend, because if you can see here from the example, we are using depends on. So this will not be started unless, so the backend here, as you can see, one of the services, the backend will not be started unless the DB is ready. So finally, the command docker compose stop also will stop the services in the order of the dependencies specified. So for example, the backend service is stopped before the DB service. So if I return back here, when I create the backend, first it will create DB with this image, okay, because it is depend on. So when I stop it or delete it, it will stop DB or delete DB first, then it will stop the backend later. Okay, thanks for watching.